Welcome to A Game of Two Hearts with me, Sam, and him, Rick. We're here again with all the news, reviews and previews of the Premier League action this week.
Hello, and welcome to a week that saw Liverpool become the new leaders with the help of scintillating Salah. Chelsea stumbled at Wolves, but then stopped stumbling to spark life into the title race. And Manchester United win a game with Lukaku scoring. In a bumper pod that sees us discuss two sets of matches, settle in for our take on the sporting action. Well, as it was a double game week, we should do our best to round up focusing on the biggest games and results. A very intriguing game week, and I think we should start with the midweek fixtures.
We'll pick off the lesser games of the midweek fixtures. Burnley, Liverpool, nice 3-1 win for Liverpool. Class showed through. Yes, it was edgy.
If the phrase doesn't work for radio, but it was edgy. I think it shows how far we've come. That's a game that we would have drawn or lost last season. We weren't behind for long. It was good to see Milner scoring a goal, proving that we've got winners all over the pitch. A big shout out to Alisson. It's a great save from Ben Mee, which denies the equaliser, and then a couple of seconds later down the end with the insurance goal from Shaqiri, who I think has been a lovely signing, by the way. Absolutely very, very pleased with Shaqiri.
I think it shows signs that Burnley have actually got some fight in them.
Yes, yeah, I mean, they played well. That's probably the best they've played all season. They did cause Liverpool problems, as I say. In many ways, their mistake was scoring, so it woke Liverpool up a little bit and shook them into life. Klopp was forced into making changes. Salah and Firmino coming on. Firmino scoring what was essentially his first touch. And as I say, a little bit of magic from Salah and Sturridge to get the ball to Shaqiri even on the counter.
Yep, it looked more comfortable than it was. Another 3-1 win midweek was Tottenham against Southampton. Only 33,000 people in Wembley for that game.
Well, Wembley's a pig to get to at the best of times, let alone in a cold midweek fixture. I think the Tottenham fans are fed up at Wembley now. I think we're waiting to hear when the new stadium is going to be ready. Each week there seems to be a new problem, and I think the Tottenham fans have put up with a lot at Wembley, and I think that their patience is wearing thin on this one.
Obviously, Hassan Hüttl saw the game, although he wasn't in charge. Thank you. And I think he'll be very pleased with McCarthy. He saved them quite a lot in that game, and he's going to be key for them going forward. Yeah, and Southampton has started to score goals recently. They've not been winning games, but they have at least started to score and show that there's an attacking threat within the team. Albeit, it was academic, the goal on this one. But they scored against United, scored against Tottenham. There are signs of life which will please Saints fans, I'm sure. Yeah, they seem to be taking their chances better than Crystal Palace have been, who also lost 3-1 to Brighton midweek. Surprising, particularly as Brighton were with 10 men for the majority of that game. That was a crazy game. The incident around the second goal especially, with Tompkins tackling for the ball, but Murray knocking it out of play, then getting given a corner. Duffy gets sent off for a headbutt.
It's a derby.
Because it's a derby. Because the decision had gone against them, and then the sub that comes on goes and scores with his first touch. Yeah, it was absolutely mental. That is a derby game. Just quickly on Duffy, I don't know what he's doing. He's an experienced player. Yeah. I mean, just go show you, anyone can lose their head in the spirit of the moment, but yeah, crazy from Duffy. Next, we'll move on to my team, Everton. 1-1 draw with Newcastle. It was a frustrating game. It's been a bit of a nothingy game, a couple of game weeks for you, isn't it? With, the loss to Liverpool in surprising and exciting circumstances. I expected you to win this one, I have to say. But Newcastle were straight, took the lead in the game as well, don't forget. Well, it's 5 years and 17 games since Newcastle last won a midweek game. Wow. Which is quite astonishing, and both keepers at each end kept each team in the game, I think. Yes, yeah. Before we move on to the sort of bigger games and bigger results in the mid-game week, was Ranieri's return to Leicester, or rather Ranieri facing Leicester, as obviously it was at Craven Cottage. A 1-1 draw, it ended up. A good point for Fulham at home. Both teams not really up for this one. No, Fulham don't seem to be able to close the game out. They went ahead in this, and it really shows that they haven't had a clean sheet yet this season. They're the only team in the top 4 leagues in England that haven't had a clean sheet this season, which is astonishing, especially for a Premier League side. Yeah, absolutely, and particularly with a side that dominate the Championship like it did last season.
West Ham beat Cardiff 3-1 at the London Stadium. Fabianski with a good penalty save early on, helped for my fantasy team.
Oh yeah.
But again, a sloppy late goal from West Ham. There are still defensive frailties in there, albeit this was a convincing win.
Yeah, seeing the goal at the end, I was quite sure a free kick was going to get given in West Ham's favour. There was a ruckus on the goal line and the referee just let it all go. It is good to see sometimes, but West Ham really killed that game off in the first 15 minutes of the second half with 3 goals.
Yeah, clinical from West Ham. And when they're in that kind of mood, they are a bit free-flowing at the moment with goals.
Yep, 9 in their last 3 matches.
So they are starting to click a little bit under Pellegrini, which I don't know how high they can go up the table, but I should think they'll be safe from relegation this season.
Yeah, I think so too.
The final midweek game to discuss or briefly gloss over was a routine win for Bournemouth against Huddersfield. It looked a little bit closer than perhaps it was. 2-1.
Yeah, they went ahead nice and early, got 2 early goals. Wilson and Fraser combining for both of those goals, and Begovic at the other end looked really quite solid for them, whereas at times he's looked iffy.
Yes, he did. He looked iffy against City, and we'll come on to the game against Liverpool, just gone as well. But a good win for Bournemouth, good for them to get back to winning ways. They've had a really tough run recently, and again, they just play such nice attacking football. Callum Wilson is tearing up the Premier League, and he has to be a feature for England's Euro qualifying campaign, I feel.
Yeah, I've been enjoying watching them this season.
Yeah. Fraser as well, again solid, looking a very good player for Bournemouth. They've got just a lovely flowing attack going. If they can just shore up at the back a little bit. They do concede a few sloppy goals here and there.
Yeah.
They can just shore up at the back that little bit more. They could be a real a threat for 7th place next season, maybe.
I think we should move on to the biggest shock midweek.
Yes.
Which was Wolves-Chelsea. Wolves ran out 2-1 winners. It was a first start for Morgan Gibbs-White, and Loftus-Cheek obviously started midweek as well. We're seeing those rotational changes in December, which you would expect.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Chelsea haven't kept consecutive clean sheets under Maurizio Sarri this season.
Wow, okay.
Which is quite surprising when you look at that defence and you think they've only let in, less than 15 goals this season.
Yeah, it's surprising. I know you're a big fan of Gibbs-White, and he did run the show, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got the assist for one of the goals, and he was just bright for them. He was going forward, chasing back. He was all over the park.
For Chelsea, this was an unexpected stumble, and one that you really didn't see coming. Wolves have been a bit of poor form recently, and Chelsea obviously fairly up and down this season actually, and away from home does seem to be a bit of a problem for them.
Yeah, they didn't do particularly well. I thought they were unlucky with a few decisions. There was the challenge early on in the second half, I think, where Bolly took Morata out from behind, which I was so shocked that wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
But in the first half, Wolves really stuck in there and put their bodies on the line, and I think that gave them the result in the second half.
Yeah, that was one of the better performances from Wolves. I just feel that Chelsea lost their heads a little bit. 2 very quick goals from Wolves completely turned the game, and Chelsea need to have better game management. We saw it against Tottenham, they let it get away from them very quickly. They let this one get away from them. They need, particularly away from home, to be harder, be more nous, have more nous to win the games or get the points.
Yeah, well, again, it was 2 mistakes. I thought Kepa should have done better with the first one. It's gone straight through him. I think what was Christensen doing with the second one? He stumbled, then slipped with the back pass, and they don't seem to kill a game off at the moment.
The problem is they've not got a solid centre back, have they? You look at the teams ahead of them, and you're looking at Liverpool got Van Dijk, City got Laporte,
Stones, Company.
Otamendi. You go through the list. But they've got that key centre back. You look at Chelsea, Rudiger, Luiz, Christensen.
Yeah, they're not top quality.
No, they're not, and that will tell over a season. That really will. I think when Tottenham get Alderweireld and Vertonghen back, that will be when they shore up and probably move above Chelsea.
Yeah, I can see that happening as well.
Where would you like to go to next?
I think we need to move on to Old Trafford. A competitive game between both teams. Some quite strange goals ending up in a 2-2 draw,
which I don't think anyone saw coming. I think after the way Arsenal dismantled Spurs the game week before, I think we all expected Arsenal to go to Old Trafford and win this one.
Yeah, especially with Man United's quality this season, it's not been up there.
So this is praise for Mourinho or Should Arsenal have done better on the night, or was it just one of those wacky games which played out the way it did?
I think it's one of those wacky games you get between United and Arsenal. Obviously, there was that 8-2 with the two teams, and
one of the worst Man United teams I've seen, by the way.
Yeah,
8-2, incredible.
But yeah, this game always throws up some surprises. I mean, the Mustafi goal that De Gea made the mistake with, you wouldn't see De Gea normally make a mistake like that.
And this is playing in the Spain shirt.
Well, yes.
But yeah, it was quite surprising the way both sides conceded the goals. Mad 60 seconds, which saw Arsenal go ahead, and they get pegged back immediately by Lingard. Again, I thought Torreira had another good game for Arsenal. He really is nailing down that central midfield spot.
Yeah, I think Kolasinac was also key to Arsenal's attacks down that left-hand side. He seemed to be getting the best of United's right-hand side and showing threat.
Yeah, I think Emery's happy to have Kolasinac back in the team ahead of Monreal. He offers that a bit more going forward.
I think he works really well with having those three centre-backs and having the two wing-backs.
Yes.
But I think they may struggle now with that holding injury.
Yes, it was nasty. We understand him to be out probably for the season.
Yeah, cruciate ligaments.
Who are Arsenal going to start playing at centre-back?
Well, you've got what? Koscielny was on the bench at the weekend.
Yep.
So he's coming back to fitness.
You don't want to rush him back, though.
You don't want to rush him back, no. He could be crucial for them, though, if he stays fit.
Potentially recall Chambers from Fulham.
If there's a clause in there.
I imagine there's a clause for January that they can pull him back, but you'd hope so. Then Arsenal's contract negotiators are funny old people. Just speak to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
So moving away from Old Trafford, shall we talk about... let's do Watford Man City next, shall we? The scoreline suggests it was quite a close game. I don't think it was.
No, I think Watford were really quite lucky to get the goal back, but in those last 10 minutes they really tried to go out and get that draw and they pushed City back.
They did, but City do what champions do, which is to grind out a win in circumstances that are a little less than convincing.
Yeah, it was a mistake at the back from Delph, which he doesn't normally do, but
we have to remember that Delph is not a full back.
No.
I think sometimes that really can show. I say Watford kind of got the home crowd behind them and pushed during the ascendancy to try and get the equaliser, but in truth City killed off this game by 80 minutes.
Yeah, I think the standout player in the game was Mahrez. He got the assist for the Sane chest goal and then scored a goal of his own, and it's showing that City have got that strength in depth.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that it for the midweek fixtures?
That is
fantastic. We'll move to the weekend just gone. Some big results this weekend. I think we can only start at the Bridge.
Yeah.
And the Chelsea 2, City 0. Pep is a big bald fraud.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the race is certainly now on, isn't it? I mean, the first thing to say is that City made chances in this game, and they were all over Chelsea, particularly in the first half. And they just had one of those weeks where they weren't clinical. Sane could have had a hat-trick on his own.
Yep.
Sterling had a couple of good efforts as well. Jesus looks a little bit lacking of confidence when he's on the ball. He doesn't seem to be making the same movements that you'd expect of Aguero or Jesus last season.
Well, he didn't actually start up front, did he?
No.
It started with Sterling through the middle, which, yes, he's on good form, but I don't think he's that central player. No, he's better used out on the wings like Sane.
Yeah, and it was odd for Pep to make that tactical change. I mean, we all herald him as a tactical genius, and you can draw your own opinions on that. But to start this game away from home with Sterling through the middle in an unconventional position for him, when you've got Jesus on the bench, I'm not sure he got this one right at all.
No, whereas Sarri did the same with Hazard through the middle. Didn't have a recognised striker on the pitch, flanked by Willian and Pedro. But it seemed to work because they needed that pace on the counter-attack. They were going to let Man City come onto them, and that's how they got their first goal. That
screamer.
That ball across field from Luis.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
And Hazard's takedown and the way he finds space, wriggles free and gets the ball back to Kante is also fantastic. What a finish by Kante.
Yeah, I mean, that goal-scoring central midfielder that Sarri wanted... Looks like he might be right. That's a couple of goals now in the last 3 games.
Yeah, and he does seem to be building confidence in front of goal. I still would rather have Kante defending than striking. It was a good goal. He went through Ederson for being ultra critical. Straight at him. It is at pace and at height, but it is straight at him. And City just couldn't make Chelsea pay. And in the end, Luis with a bizarre finish, really. with lax defending you don't normally associate with City from a corner.
Well, I don't think it was a corner in the first place. It was a Barkley shot that the cameras, they're not clear enough.
They're not, although I think it probably is a corner, and I don't understand why Pep got in such a strop. If Pep can see that from there, well,
yeah,
let's get him at Wimbledon calling the
calling the lines,
because that is incredible vision. If he can see it from there, look. I know there's the phrase, show me a good loser and I'll just show you a loser, but I thought Pep was particularly ungraceful in defeat here. Not really interested at the end of shaking hands, sort of shook Sarries and stormed off down the tunnel. And when the second goal went in, it looked like the whole world had fallen around him. It's a defeat, they're still incredible, they're still probably going to win the league. Just be gracious to your opponent.
I think Kepa kept them in the game.
Yeah.
I think he made some really crucial saves, although he had one slight slip towards the end of the match.
Made up for it though.
Where, yeah, as I said, he definitely made up for it.
Yeah. The other thing with Pep as well is that I don't think City need to be overly worried. It's not that they got outclassed in this game. They played well, they played good football, and they made a lot of chances. If they come into this and didn't make a clear-cut chance and let Chelsea overrun them like Spurs did to Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, you'd be worried. But I don't think that was the case. I think on another day City win this comfortably.
Yeah, there just wasn't the finish there. They needed that Aguero up front.
But the slip from City meant that Liverpool go top of the league with a 4-0 win at Bournemouth. I thought Liverpool looked very good in this one.
Yeah, I can imagine you were delighted by that result.
Well, I mean, Salah hasn't really clicked this season particularly, but he was back to some of his scintillating best football there. His second and third goal in particular were excellent. The way he stays on his feet for the second goal.
Yeah, that was a nasty try and take down from Cook, raking the studs down the back of his Achilles.
And it'd be easy to go down. I don't think anyone would blame you for going down that circumstance.
No, not at all.
But fair enough to him for keeping going. It's a nice finish. A little bit fortunate deflection of Ake, but you make your own luck in many ways. And his third, the way he sits Begovic down twice and then pokes past the defenders on the line, that was Salah of last season at his very best.
Talking of unlucky, the own goal.
It was Jim J. Traore-esque, wasn't it?
It was weird.
Yeah, it was.
When that ball came in from Robertson, I was thinking, how the hell's that gone in?
Wicked ball by Robbo, though.
Yeah, he's like pirouetted on it.
Yeah.
And Begovic had no chance because he doesn't know where it's coming from.
Not on that one. You mentioned Begovic. I thought that he has a problem with parrying shots this season.
The shot from Firmino.
Just push him out for a corner if you can't hold it.
Exactly.
Salah's offside. Don't get me wrong.
Marginally.
Marginally. Yes. I'm not going to say he's not. But how has he got there? How has he been given the chance? And Begovic did this against City a couple of weeks ago, where he parried. I think it was a Jesus shot into the path of Sterling.
Yeah.
He's done this a couple of times this season, where he's just push it around the post, man.
Yeah, he is a good, solid keeper for the majority of the season.
He's a mid-table keeper,
but there are mistakes in him.
Yeah, he's a mid-table keeper. Just quick shout out to James Milner, 500 not out. I thought it was a nice gesture from Salah at the end to give him the man of the match trophy.
It shows the class of the man, doesn't it?
I think it shows the togetherness of the squad as well. That so I think Salah said to him along the lines of, "Let's hope we can win something else together this season," which is good to see. Milner is, you can try and emulate your Pogba's, etc. Milner is the professional you want to be emulating.
Oh yeah,
he is the model professional. Never stops running, never complains. He's a right back in this game.
Yeah,
didn't complain, got on with the job. I think he's a real example to kids everywhere. Show your kids James Milner.
That is also a club record for Liverpool as well now. 17 games without defeat.
Only unbeaten side left in Europe, I understand.
I was quite surprised that 17 games is a club record for you. I thought back in the good old days that you would have had longer streaks than that, but obviously not.
I think this, before we move on, this does say a lot for where Liverpool are, because they've gone away to Bournemouth, which is a tough ground. Bournemouth have almost beaten a couple of big sides there.
Yep.
And Bournemouth weren't ever in this game from a myriad of reasons, but Liverpool completely dominated this one.
Yep.
And if they can keep that up, I mean, this is about the time last season they clicked and really went on. Let's see. Big game against Napoli in the week, big game against United at the weekend. Win those two, and we dare to dream.
Well, you talk about dominating a game and United, and they certainly did that against Fulham.
Lukaku scored, Sam.
I know. Lukaku scored. Young scored and got an assist.
Yep. No more binge watching Gavin and Stacey and the Wolf of Wall Street. The streak is over. Lukaku has scored. Stopped the press, and United have won very convincingly.
Yeah, very, very convincingly. I don't think they'd won by a margin of more than 2 goals since Swansea in March, I think.
Which is madness.
It is mad, considering the size of the club that United is.
Yes.
You'd expect them to go out and win games 3, maybe 4-0, like City have been doing the last couple of seasons.
I thought Rashford played very well in this game.
Yeah, he was one of the positive lights, wasn't he? And
he
has been in this season. He's been the player that has wanted it to take it to the teams that they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also thought that Herrera played really well.
Yeah, I think United played very well in general, to be honest. I mean, it is a penalty. There's no doubt about that for me.
The Herrera tackle.
Yeah, it's a penalty for me.
It's not for me.
No, I think
he gets the ball first and he clips it back onto the Fulham player.
You can't come in at that angle anymore.
But he's got to the ball first.
Doesn't matter. You can't come from behind or from beside a player anymore. You pretty much can be square on now, haven't you, to be a fair tackle. Rightly or wrongly, I think the way the game's played now, that is a penalty.
I disagree.
That's the joy of the pod of 2 halves, isn't it? That we can have these disagreements. I think it's one of those that if you get it given against you, you're absolutely seething.
Yeah.
But I think by the laws of the game, it probably just about is.
Fair enough. What do you think about the red card? 2 yellows for Anguissa. The second one is...
It's not a yellow card.
It's not a yellow card.
It's a foul by Rashford, pulling him down. I think... Can you try and overturn that as it's a second yellow? I'm not sure you can.
I don't think you can. You can only overturn straight reds.
Yeah, it's a shame because I don't think it is a yellow card. I think if anything's coming together, if you're going to book him, you've got to book Rashford.
Yeah, they've almost wrestled each other to the ground, and the ball's not even involved.
It's a tangle, isn't it? It's a tangle. Put away your handbags, get up and get on. I mean, for me, it's not a second yellow. It's not a red card, but let's not pretend to change the game.
No, the game was already gone by then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did love Ranieri's quote at the end of the game, where he's comparing the 2 halves. He said the first half was like lambs against wolves.
Yes.
And just having him back in the Premier League is excellent.
I have missed Ranieri, an absolute gentleman. I'm glad to have him back in the Premier League, and I hope he keeps filling them up. I really do. Cause I'm a big fan of Claudio. I think he's just a thoroughly nice chap.
If he doesn't keep them up, will he stay?
No.
Will he get sacked or will he walk?
I think he'll walk. It'll be mutually agreed. Ranieri doesn't need to be messing about in the Championship.
Okay.
It's also a division I don't think he really understands.
Fair enough.
He's never succeeded in the Championship as far as I'm aware.
Anyway, moving on to the London Stadium and West Ham Crystal Palace.
It was a cracker.
It's a fantastic game, full of goals.
Cracker.
West Ham games just seem to be full of goals at the moment.
West Ham are one of the most exciting teams to watch at the minute because you just don't know what's going to happen, do you? I mean,
no.
As you said, they've got 9 goals and 3. Fantastic. They are free-flowing going forward, potentially absolutely shambolic at the back.
Although Fabianski seems to be
he's
pulling some stuff out of the bag, but this week he was hesitant for that first goal.
He was, but look, he's one of the most underrated keepers of the Premier League era, so I'm not going to jump on his back too much. I mean, how many times he kept West Ham in a game, not just this season but last as well, and Swansea before that.
Swansea,
so, I'm not going to rag on Fabianski too much. I want to instead praise Anderson, who I think really has now got the pace of the Premier League, and he looks stunning.
He's up to class, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is.
And you can see why they've paid the money. A wonderful finish for that third goal.
Some of the pictures just look like the ball's going so far out of play. The way he's bent that back in. When he's playing and he's purring, he is one of the best players in the Premier League to watch. He really is, and a good fantasy footballer.
Do you think he'll stay at West Ham at the end of the season?
It depends where West Ham get.
I don't think he'll stay anyway. I think someone will come and big for him.
Problem is though, I mean, for all these players at these sort of clubs, what big club would you fit in at? He works at West Ham because he's the number 1 man. He goes to Man City, he's one of many men.
Yep.
And I can't think where else what other big club he fits into particularly.
Could you see him going to Tottenham or Chelsea?
No.
Staying in London?
No, because neither Tottenham or Chelsea play with that sort of free-flowing central midfielder who's allowed to just do what he wants and float through games. Chelsea do it with Hazard to an extent, but he's more of a cam or a winger. Tottenham give Eriksen that role as a cam or a winger. Anderson sort of just floats around the midfield area. I don't see where he fits in at a big club.
I'd like to see him at a bigger club. I'd like to see what he can do with quality players around him as well.
I mean, arguably he'd fit in a little bit better at Man United.
Yeah.
But they've already got a couple of players. I mean, Fred springs to mind who can't get a game at the moment, so I don't know why Anderson would try that. No, I think we've seen what happened to Dimitri Payet. I think the grass isn't always greener. West Ham isn't a terrible club to be playing a trade at, and he will be a number one man there.
I think he'll go if they don't get Europe, which I don't think they will.
I think if he goes, he'll go out the Premier League.
Okay. One thing to pick up on that game, Hernandez, another goal. 49 Premier League goals now. All of them from inside the box. He's the perfect poacher, isn't he?
He's the perfect poacher. I'm glad to see him getting a bit of a run, albeit it's come at an injury expense, but I think he's a better player than he gets credit for. And as you say, he's the ultimate poacher. If the ball falls to anybody in the box, he's up there with who you want it to fall to. Because he just knows how to score when it's in there. He reminds me a little bit of a new age Robbie Fowler in that sense, that he is the fox in the box, the poacher. It might be doing a little bit of disservice to Robbie, but you know what I mean. He's not one for necessarily taking on players and doing jinky, mazy runs and you go, oh my gosh, stand up and applaud. He's just one of those that will score you a goal by getting in the box.
Yeah, there's only one player in Premier League history that scored more inside the box than him.
Owen.
Tim Cahill.
Oh, bloody hell.
56 goals.
Wow.
I know, I was quite surprised when I saw that.
Wow, that's an extra stat there.
John Terry's got 41.
Well, yeah, but he only scored
all of his goals inside the box.
He's a defender coming over the corners, I suppose. But wow, that's pretty impressive. But no, I thought he played well. I thought Palace offered something in this game.
In the end,
yeah, it took a while, didn't it?
Yeah, they're still struggling for someone clinical up front, and I think they badly need that in January. Because yes, they're still creating the chances, but if you got no one to put it away, then that's why they're down there.
Problem is, who do you look at? I mean, it was the tale of two teams. You say you got Chikorita at one end, who is the player that Palace so desperately needs.
Yeah.
I don't know who's out there for Palace. Who do you turn to?
I think you've got to look outside the Premier League.
But they've got to get up to the Premier League speed, haven't they? That's the problem. Palace
exactly.
need goal scorer now. I mean, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, any players, any strikers that are at clubs that aren't getting games that you try and go for. Now, none are springing to mind. Tossum? I mean, he's not really the answer, is he?
Don't talk to me about Tossum.
Divock Origi, go on loan for him for half a season? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Origi's the answer to all their prayers. They've got one Belgium that can't hit the back of the net.
Can't stay fit either.
No, I don't know what their answer is. Danny Sturridge for half a season? Didn't work for West Brom.
No.
I don't know. I think Palace are in deep, deep trouble. I really, really do.
Another team in deep trouble, Huddersfield. 1-0 loss to Arsenal.
Yeah, Huddersfield Lossell kept them in this game. He really did. He was excellent this week. But I just want to call out Arsenal's play acting, and I'm glad the referee picked up on
it. Was disgraceful, wasn't it?
The Guendouzi one in particular is absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah. I think that could show an issue more to the younger players now.
Yes.
The fact that you've got a 21-year-old coming into an Arsenal team this year and going out and doing those things. Has he learnt that from previous generations?
No. He's learning it from what's happening now, what players are getting away with.
And I think the referee did very well in that game to book 3 Arsenal players for simulation.
Brave
and correct.
Absolutely correct. I say the Guendouzi one is the most disgraceful for me because there is nowhere near contact. You know what I mean? The other two you can make a case for maybe anticipating contact or feeling something slight and overreacting. The Guendouzi one I thought was
theatrical.
Yeah, awful. And fair play to the referee for that one.
I think one of the stranger moments in the match, Jorgensen with that back pass.
Yes.
That Lacazette runs in, goes and taps it in, but it's called offside from the previous period of play.
Yeah, the problem is, it's a cliche in many ways, but nobody knows what the offside rule is. The players don't know, the linesmen don't fully know. And I was talking about this with a colleague at work, actually, funny enough, today. When I was growing up watching football for the first time, if you were offside if any man was beyond the last defender. It didn't matter if they were in play, if they were active or anything like that, you were offside. And they brought in the must be interfering with play rule, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
But then they started bringing the phases and the obstructing the keeper's view, and it's just got so ruddy complicated. And when I was growing up, you always gave the advantage or the benefit of the doubt to the attacker. That was the rule. It's gone the other way now.
Yeah.
If you're in any doubt, give it to the defender. And I think I don't necessarily blame the linesman as such, because I don't have any faith that anybody knows exactly what the rules are.
No, but this was a fairly obvious back pass by Jorgensen, and Lacazette wasn't involved in the play before.
No, but is he behind Jorgensen when the ball's played?
He's goal side of Jorgensen, yes.
So he's offside. As that this is the problem with the phases, though, isn't it? This is where you'll get some people saying, well, that phase has ended when Jorgensen makes the pass.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't think many... I think the wider issue is that they've made the rules so ruddy complicated that nobody really knows how to follow them. Huddersfield, I say, they did well here in many ways to only lose 1-0. Love the finish by Torreira.
Oh, it's fantastic, wasn't it?
It was brilliant.
He seems to be really fitting in well to that Arsenal midfield. We saw it in the World Cup with Uruguay, how solid and aggressive he looked almost.
Yeah.
And he's really fitting in well now.
He has. He's going to be a big asset to the Premier League for many seasons to come. Shall we move on to Cardiff and Southampton? 1-0 win for Cardiff. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Cardiff's home form's going to keep them up.
Yeah. What's that, four wins at home now?
Yeah.
Hassan Hüttl's first game in charge.
Bless you.
Thank you. You only have 48 hours with the players, so you can't expect miracles straight away.
You can't judge this on that.
But this was a key game, really. Another side that's going to be down there.
It's come too soon for Hassan Hüttl.
Well done.
Thank you. But Cardiff have to win these games at home against the relegation rivals, and they are doing it consistently. They really, really are. And I think nobody gave them a chance when they were promoted. Everyone was saying that this is going to be the worst Premier League team in history. They're going to be worse than Derby County.
I'm not sure people can be worse than Derby.
Well, Chris Sutton said they would be
at
the start of the season. In fairness to him, he has since everyone's asked something at the start of the season. Nobody can predict anything. Fair play, Suts. But I must admit, when I saw them come up, I did think that this was going to be a nasty Warnock team that just couldn't do anything other than kick anything that moved. But fair play, they're actually doing very, very well.
They are. I'm quite pleased to watch them at home. Their away games less so, because they're setting up to defend and play on the counter, which is obvious for a team like them.
I've got no problem with that. That's how they know they're not going to win many away, and they know if they can lose 1-0, it's better than getting taxed 4-0, isn't it?
I have a refereeing issue in this game. Two penalties that should have been given to Southampton, both not given.
Are you saying that FA has an agenda against Southampton?
No, I'm just saying that there needs to be VAR introduced sooner rather than later.
Yes, we all know it's coming next year, and that was a thought echoed by Rafa Benitez after yesterday's loss at Wolves, and I'll come on to that in a moment. Look, we all know VAR is probably needed, but I have an issue with managers blaming the lack of technology.
Well, it's either blame the lack of technology or blame the referees, which they then get punished for.
It is, although also accept that even if VAR, things are going to be given wrongly. It's the way of the sport. Nothing's black and white in football. I'm with you. There were two clear-cut penalties for me for Southampton, but Southampton will get an offside goal ruled on, or they'll get a penalty later on in the season. It does even itself out over the season. Focus on the problems of Southampton rather than the lack of VAR in the Premier League. You've got VAR is not going to keep you up this season. What's going to keep you up is getting your defence tighter and your goal scorers scoring goals.
Yep.
Well, should we go into Newcastle and Wolves then?
Yep.
Well, another VAR problem, and Benitez is never one for blaming referees. He's always very conservative and takes stock of what the problems are. Wolves on a bit of a run now. They've had a bit of a barren spell. Now back-to-back wins against Chelsea and Newcastle. 2 games that might have earmarked for 1 point rather than 6.
Yeah, I think that Chelsea win really gave them some impetus in this game to go on and kick on. But I think they only kicked on once Yedlin was sent off. I think the game was very competitive up till then.
Red card?
Yes.
Yep. No, I agree as well, but it's one we always have to discuss.
You can't expect to make that sort of mistake and then just drag your man back when he's through on goal.
Although, are we not supposed to be playing the double jeopardy rule now? Although he's not played for the ball, has he? That's the complicated
He hasn't played for the ball, no, and it's also not in the penalty area.
That's also true.
It was a free kick.
Yeah, you're right, it's for the penalty, isn't it? Yeah. No, well, that's completely proved why the referee was correct.
Lovely.
Rafa. So, I didn't actually get to see Rafa's comments. Was he having a problem with the red card? Was that what he wants VAR for?
No, he had problem with the Bolly elbow, I believe. So Bolly's elbow on, I can't quite remember who it was, but then Wolves have gone down the other end on the counter attack and Doherty scored the goal.
See, this is my problem again with just blaming the referees and lack of VAR. Defend better.
Yeah.
Play to the whistle, defend better, and don't let them have a counter-attack like that. I'm very harsh and very old school when it comes to this, and look, I think VAR will be a welcome addition to the Premier League overall. But what manager's going to blame them? Sometimes you have to just accept that your team isn't good enough and you need to work on it.
I think they will be more accepting when VAR comes in. I think it will be refreshing to see as well.
No, I think it'll go the other way. And the manager will start saying we don't need VAR. VAR's ruining the game. I say, look, referees get a decision wrong every game on average. I don't think I've seen many games where I can say, yep, that referee has got everything spot on. But I also think that the managers just have to look at it and say that, look, sometimes the last minute penalty that's given, that isn't a penalty. I understand why you've got a problem. But equally, in this game here, Newcastle should have taken the chances when they had them. They should have been out of sight before Wolves scored. And Rafa has to take responsibility for why he's not signed a proper goal scorer whilst being at the club, albeit funds are low.
Well, yeah, they're still in the sort of like talks of the takeover.
But why sign Rondon?
I thought Rondon played really quite well in this match.
Why keep Perez?
He scored. I know how much you don't like him, but he did score in this match.
Yeah, he did score, but stop clocks right twice a day. I just look at it as I think at the minute, without the fact that VAR's coming in has given managers an easy get out, i.e. just blame the lack of VAR for all your problems.
Burnley-Brighton, 1-0 win for Burnley, something they desperately needed.
Very much so.
And as I said with the Liverpool-Burnley game midweek, there was some fighting spirit, and this game really did show it.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, this was a must-win for Burnley, a slightly surprised loss for Brighton.
Away from home, though. Brighton away from home aren't the team that they are at home.
That is also absolutely true, and it's weird, isn't it? It's weird how some teams have this strange home and away Jekyll and Hyde performance. It's strange, isn't it, how some teams are almost unplayable at home. Maybe that's too strong a word. However, just really cannot seem to then do it away. But yeah, huge win for Burnley. I still think they're in trouble, Sam. I really do.
I do. My standout performer both ends, Tarkowski.
And Joe Hart.
Yeah, Tarkowski got the goal, had chance with another header that just shaved the post, but he was also there at the back to make important blocks because Brighton did come at them in the second half. There's arguments whether he was blocking the keeper for his goal. I don't know how much there is in that.
I don't think so. Not for me.
But towards the end of the match, Burnley were riding their luck with the amount of chances that Brighton were getting.
They were, but I think Burnley had due a bit of luck, to be honest with you. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. We should probably also mention that Tottenham had a fairly routine 2-0 win over Leicester. A fairly, routine win there, and Dele Alli played very well in this game, I thought.
Yeah, Tottenham rested a couple of players this week because obviously they got that big midweek match against Barca. Kane was left on the bench. Eriksen left out completely, I think.
Much to fantasy football players' dreams everywhere.
But yeah, Tottenham looked fairly comfortable in this match. Leicester had some chances in the first half, but two wonderful pieces of skill from Son. First for his first goal, and then for the assist for Ali.
He's a very good little player. Underrated. Oh, Sam. What's that I can hear? It's the announcement ringing around the stadium for how much added time there is, which means it's time for us to do Team of the Week, Player of the Week, Villain of the Week, and Combined 11 of the Week. We'll do it for the week just gone, which is fresh in people's minds, i.e. the weekend games. I'll start if that's okay.
Sure.
Lossell in goal, kept the scores down, kept Huddersfield in it till the end. Nothing to do on the Torreira finish,
no.
But I thought he had a very, very good game here. I've gone for a back four of Young. Very good finish by him, and I thought he played well throughout this one. David Luiz did fairly well at limiting Summer City's attacks. Got a couple of good blocks in the first half, particularly on Sane. Kept his head in the box with Sane. We've seen Luiz be a little bit silly in the past. Sol Bamba at Cardiff as well as centre-back. Another clean sheet for Cardiff at home. I think Bamba is a key part of that Cardiff back four. And Schlupp. What's Schlupp? Nice goal.
Fair enough.
Palace need players to start chipping all over the pitch, so can't fault that. Midfield 3 of Snodgrass, lovely goal by him.
It was lovely.
Played very well. He's in a bit of a purple patch at the minute, or should I say a claret patch? Thank you. Alongside him is his teammate Anderson. As we discussed in the pod, not much else to say about him. And finally, Dele Alli, who again I thought had a very, very strong week. Then a forward three of Salah. He's got a hat-trick.
Obvious.
Rashford, very, very well played, as we said, and Hazard, 2 assists. He turns up for the big games. I can't remember the exact stat, but I think he's had. Well, I can't remember the exact stat, but he's had an influence in all the games against the top 5.
Yeah.
I think that he really does show up when it counts.
A few changes in my team.
Of course.
Kepa in goal.
Yeah, okay.
When you keep out Sterling, Sane, that Man City team, if you keep a clean sheet against them, you deserve to go in. Which is also why I've got Luis in there. As we said, strong at the back, set up the crossfield ball for the first goal.
Yep.
2 Man United wing backs, Dalot and Young. Ooh. I thought Dalot was very good for his age.
Is your name Garth Crooks?
19 years old, and he was putting those balls into the box exactly where the strikers are going to want them.
Yeah, no, he played well. I won't.
And Young's goal was a rocket.
Screamer.
Yeah, cut inside and arrowed.
Yeah.
Tarkowski, both for his goal and for his defensive work. 4 in midfield, Anderson, as we said.
Yep.
Ali, as we said. Torreira for that overhead kick and
Fair
how
enough.
solid he's been.
Yep.
And Son for getting the goal and setting up Ali. And then up front, Rashford and Salah.
Yeah.
As you said before, they explain themselves.
So, team of the week. Who was your team of the week, as it were?
My team of the week was United.
Oh, okay.
United, they looked like the United of old, what we'd expect for them to go out and do against those smaller teams, go and hit 4 against them and play with an intensity that we haven't really seen from them throughout the whole game this season.
Okay, a special shout out to Chelsea, who obviously beat City, but I don't think they've beaten particularly convincingly. So I've gone for another team that scored 4. It was always going to be Liverpool this week for me, wasn't it, to be honest?
Yes.
Going away at Bournemouth is a tough place to go, and I don't think Liverpool ever gave Bournemouth a chance. I thought that's the best I've probably seen Liverpool away from home this season.
Yep.
So, villain of the week.
I've been a bit cheeky with my villain of the week.
You've gone for referee, have you?
No.
No, okay.
I've actually gone for Duffy from the midweek games.
Oh, you've completely thrown caution to the wind.
I have.
Okay.
Because the stupidity of getting involved in a situation that he needn't get involved in, he's run the length of the pitch. This was in the opposite penalty area.
Yeah.
And he's taken issue with a decision that's gone against one of his teammates, fair enough. But to square up to another player and then push your head towards him, what do you expect?
It's like when the keeper comes running out to remonstrate his point.
Exactly.
You just think, go back on your goal. Have a drink from your water and a wipe with your towel. Go away.
I thought possibly Yedlin, but I can see why he's done it.
Yeah.
But Duffy's was just stupid in midweek.
I've gone for Pep.
Oh.
He has a tendency in the big games to almost overthink. I remember last season at Liverpool, he played Gundogan wide to Anfield, and a decision that nobody could really understand. And the Sterling through the middle here, it's almost like when he plays away from home against the quote big sides. Does he panic? Is that too strong a word for it? He makes odd tactical decisions in these kind of games that don't. He's done it in the Champions League as well, where they just don't seem to work. Sterling through the middle. Why would you change what's happened? Well, it looks like Everton have scored by your celebration, but we'll come to that in a minute. But why would you change Sterling's position for when he's playing so well the way he is?
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
No, I don't understand it. And whether it's that mentality of packing that midfield so you don't concede the chances. But with the team that they've got, they don't need to worry about conceding those chances. They've got a solid back four.
But you can still do that and play Sterling well. You're just bringing Gundogan and hold him with Fernandinho and drop David Silva or arguably Sane and play Sterling. I don't know. I don't understand his logic, and I think for me that's why he's villain of the week.
Quick update. Richarlison has scored 1-0.
Controversial.
Yeah, I do wonder whether he's celebrated. Obviously, we're not watching the game live, just getting the updates. But yeah, slide passing from the right hand side by Gomez of all people.
He's a top young player, Gomez.
Who is your player of the week?
Oh yes. Well, it's Mo Salah. Simple as that.
Yeah. I don't need to argue with that one. I've gone for him as well.
No. It's good, lovely hat trick. Bit fortunate at the first, but the second and third.
He was just the star player this week. Stand out in that game.
He terrorised Bournemouth.
Yeah, he did.
So Sam, we'll do the double. We'll do game week 15 and 16. First of all, how did you do on 15? I had a really strong start here, where I was 48 points up after the Tuesday night games. I was thinking
that was because of the Bournemouth match, wasn't it?
Well, I had 5 players left to play. I thought, it's going to be a real good game week. Finished with 57, above average, which was 45. But big players let me down. I had in that game week Alonso, Trent, and Rudiger scoring me 3 points between them. Bamiyang with 2, Anderson with 2, Salah with 4, and Silva with 6. I was really let down by my big players.
Sorry, how many did you get again?
57.
57. I got 33.
It doesn't seem so bad.
It was a really, really poor week. Obviously, we had players drop left, right, and centre. Mane and Robertson not playing.
Yep.
Alonso having a shocker against Wolves. And Wilson was my only player of note.
I think I can probably cheer you up. Look who's first on my bench.
Martial, nice.
7, yeah. Okay, so game week 16 then. The average is 45. You managed to get how many?
41.
Oh, I'm catching you up then, mate.
Yeah, I'm not having a good time at the moment. Those injuries and players being dropped throughout Christmas, they're catching me out a little.
I will be on 70 when the changes are applied because I've got 2 players not playing.
Oh, true. I've got 11 points coming on, so 52.
Not bad. So Alonso, Van Dijk, 2 clean sheets for me. I had Salah, so 21 points straight off the bat. Felipe Anderson 12, Aubameyang captain for 10, Chicharito got me 9, so fairly happy. And actually, I was going to look at where we are in the league then. Let's see. I'm tied with you as it stands, so I will go ahead. I will go ahead after this week.
That's not good.
No, you'll draw away because I wouldn't have my 67. So no, you'll draw away. You'll be about 9 points clear, I think, going into next game week. So I've clawed that back quite nicely.
Yeah, I should have had Etheridge in goal this week because I'm not 100% confident on us keeping a clean sheet tonight with Pickford in goal.
Don't talk about keepers. Don't talk about Fabianski in goal. Patricio does better. Every time I put Patricio in goal, Fabianski does better. Cannot win on that front. Well, the players are back onto the pitch. It's the second half about to kick off here, which means it's time for...
I have 2 stat of the week this week.
So
we'll start because we had double the amount of games. The first half of midweek games.
You guys,
it's the first time in history that 2 subs have come on and scored in the first half of the match. It shouldn't Brighton Palace.
Wow.
So Balogun came on and so did Adone for Murray. They both scored in the first half. Adone, lovely goal by the way.
Yes, sorry.
Breakaway. I may have misspoken. I still think they're going to beat us. Totally deserve that at the Etihad. Weekend games.
So
Guardiola, 3 losses against Chelsea, more than any other team that he's faced.
I think I'm ahead, but we'll come back to although he's the manager, he's lost to the most. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw on this one. I think Everton, I think City do have a problem with their away to City. I think City,
they don't seem to like it, do they?
Well, Anfield, they play very the team that's not going around, they play for draw Anfield.
No, we do hold the record actually for the biggest Guardiola defeat. 4-0 at Goodison Park. But I don't see that happening this time. I think City will go out and beat us fairly comfortably. I've gone for a 2-0 win.
You don't fancy doing us a favour then, though?
Oh, no. No, not at all.
No, fair enough.
Talking to you anyway.
Yeah, talking about it's the big
Playing
game.
the other Manchester team.
Biggest game of the weekend for me. Oh, I hate this game so much. So
it's at Anfield though.
It is. I enjoy watching the Merseyside derby because A, I've got you to watch it with, and B, we normally win.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thanks.
I hate playing Man United. I hate losing that game more than I hate losing any other. And Mourinho always finds a way, doesn't he?
What a nice little 1-0 win for United.
Liverpool,
that's normally how he does
Liverpool
it.
Have 14 shots on target. They'll hit the post. And Fellaini will bundle over a goal in the 88th minute to give Manchester United the win.
Is that what you've gone for?
No, I've gone for 3-1. 3-1 to Liverpool. Got a dream now. Ale.
Oh dear. Well, I still think you'll win. I think you'll have too much quality for United. 5-10 years ago, certainly wouldn't have said that. I've gone for a 2-1 win. I think it will be a tight but cagey affair.
I think we can all probably agree Mourinho will probably try and shut us out and go for the draw.
Oh yeah, he'll play 3 at the back, but 2 of those centre-backs will be midfielders and some random...
Rashford worries me.
Yeah, that pace at the back.
It worries me because Trent will be playing because he's going to have to because Gomez is now out injured, so Trent will have to play. Trent doesn't do well against pace. I've seen Wolves Zaha tear him to bits, El Shaarawy tear him to bits, and Rashford in this fixture last year, where Rashford Cruyff turned him for the first and then just spun past him for the second.
And if it isn't Trent, then it's either Lovren or Matip alongside Van Dijk. Are you worried?
It'll be Matip, I think.
It'll be Matip, yeah. There's still question marks over him for me.
Who, Matip?
Yeah.
Yes, but I'd rather him than Lovren any day of the week.
Yeah, it's very true.
I think actually we may see Milner play right back in this one. It wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me. Leicester. Palace at home need to make good of the home advantage here. Leicester a little bit wobbly on the travels. A little bit wobbly this season, to be honest. They've been neither here nor there.
Yeah, they've been a bit up and down, haven't they?
Not really smashed together any sort of form.
No.
I think Palace, they need to win this. They really do. But they don't score goals. So what have you gone for in this one, Sam?
I don't think they're going to score at all, even though they're at home. And they seem to be slightly better at home, maybe. I still think Leicester are going to win 2-0. I think Maddison's going to be influential again, as he has been in the last couple of games.
I think Palace, they scored 2 past West Ham. I think they're going to win here. I think they're going to win 2-1, I think. Next up, Huddersfield-Newcastle. Must win for both sides, with those relegation 6-pointers in many respects. Huddersfield, again, at home. Slightly better than they are on their travels. And Newcastle, again, a bit like Leicester, can't really get any form together. But equally, considering the games they've played, aren't as bad off or worse off as I thought they would be.
No, Newcastle, they had a couple of wins, didn't they? And they seem to have just lifted themselves slightly further up the table. Huddersfield home form is the worst in the league at the moment.
Yeah, bottom of the table.
But Newcastle's away form, it's okay.
Yeah.
I think there could be a draw here. There may be a goal each way. I've gone for 2-1 Huddersfield.
I've gone 1-0 Huddersfield. Yeah.
Just because they're at home. Moving on, Spurs at home, at Wembley.
Where it
against Burnley.
I think it'll be a low turnout, but I think it'll be a regulation win for Spurs. I'm going
it
3-0.
should be. I don't see Burnley causing them too much of an issue. They might go and score a goal from a set piece. But I think Tottenham, depending how they do midweek against Barcelona.
Yeah.
If they're on a high, then I think they'll go and win it. If they're on a low, then there's an argument they could bounce back. Either way, I still think they'll win 2-1.
Yeah, 3-0 for me. Watford host Cardiff. Cardiff away from home, as we say, are a different beast. Watford, again, like Leicester, can't really get any sort of form smashed together. They are, a strange one, aren't they, Watford? They've got players that would suggest that they should be better than they are. In the last 5, they've only won 1.
At home, that is.
At home, in the last 5 at home.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
They did have that good start to the season, and I'd like to see that come back into their play. Obviously, not tonight. But
they're away tonight, so it's fine.
Yeah, but against Cardiff, I think they should have the quality to get past them at home.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I've gone for a 1-0 win to Watford.
2-0 Watford for me. Yeah, that's sure enough. Wolves-Bournemouth, interesting one this. Wolves on a bit of a high. Bournemouth's tough run is more or less over.
Yep.
Bournemouth, the way they've stayed in the top 10 comfortably during this tough run, it is credit to them.
I think it's a sign that they're going to have a really solid season.
Yeah, and I think they'll beat Wolves.
I think this is going to be a really, really tight game again. I think that I'd like to see a lot of goals.
Yeah, well, always.
Obviously. And I think both teams will go out to win it, but I don't think there'll be a winner.
Interesting. So you're going for a
2-2 draw.
2-0 Bournemouth for me. Wilson should be back.
Yeah,
I think
slight hamstring injury this weekend.
I don't blame Hal for resting him. I'd like to beat Liverpool. Rest him up. Absolutely right decision. Fulham host West Ham in a sort of London derby at the tea time kickoff. Fulham need to start winning games and picking up points. West Ham probably aren't the best team to come up against at the moment, as they're quite free flowing and scoring. Equally, Fulham at home are different to Fulham away.
Yeah, and I think the more time that Ranieri has with them, the more, hopefully solid they'll look at the back. I still don't see them keeping a clean sheet.
No.
And I think as long as you've got Hernandez playing, you've got Anderson playing, then I think West Ham will have slightly too much for them. I've gone for a 2-1 away win.
Fair enough. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I think both teams score. I don't think both teams do enough to win. Penultimate game, Brighton host Chelsea at Sunday lunchtime, 1:30 kickoff. Brighton at home, tough to beat Man United there of course, but I think Chelsea will be buoyed by the City win. They would have come off the Europa League, but I imagine already being through that they'll make big changes. And to be fair, Sarri's played a weakened side in the Europa League anyway.
Yeah, I think his weakened side has done really quite well in Europe.
Yes.
It shows that they've got some depth in their squad, which obviously a big team like them, they've obviously got. But I still see Brighton not causing too many issues for them.
No, I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Chelsea. I can see Brighton getting a penalty. Or a Glenn Murray
goal. Or a Glenn Murray goal, yeah. I don't think they're going to be that lucky. I think Chelsea will run out 2-0 winners. Hazard again, I think, will be the main man.
Yeah, I can see that. The only game left then is Southampton and Arsenal. Now, Southampton, as you said, need to start getting points on the board soon. The Cardiff game came too quickly for them in many respects.
Yep.
Arsenal, I think the wheels have to come up at some point, and they started to come loose against Huddersfield. Loose, and I'm going to go for a Southampton 1-0 win. Manager bounce.
That's brave.
It is, but Southampton have been scoring goals at home. And Arsenal haven't been totally convincing away from home. You look at their form in the last sort of 5 games, Arsenal. 3 wins and 2 draws. Okay,
away.
Away. Okay, they've not lost away in the last 5. But I just got a feeling on this. When I called that Chelsea-Wolves would be a 1-1 draw, I was closer to that than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a sneaking suspicion that Southampton might just steal this. I mean, they almost stole against United at their place. Also went 2-0 up.
I don't see Southampton doing this. They haven't had a home win all season.
Let's start now.
Well, yeah, but I still think the quality that Arsenal have got up front, not necessarily at the back, there are some frailties there, but I think Aubameyang and Lacazette linking together, they'll go out and get the win, and I think they will win 2-0.
As a little recap then from the 2 game weeks just gone, how many correct answers did you manage to predict?
Oh, none. No correct answers.
Okay, so I managed to predict 2 correct answers, 1 in each game week, I believe.
Yep, you had Leicester Fulham, which was 1-1.
Yep.
And you also had Tottenham Southampton, both in the midweek games, which was 3-1 to Tottenham. I was so annoyed that Southampton scored in that last minute, because that would have been 3 points for me.
So what are the scores on the doors at the moment? I am ahead, I believe.
So I am on 15 points. No correct scores yet.
No correct scores. Well, 15 points is quite respectable. That's 15 correct results.
Yep.
And I am on 21 with 2 correct results thus far.
Yeah, that's really been the difference between us, isn't it?
Well, what can I say? Mystic Rick. Well, the second half has absolutely flown by. The official is out again in his little shorts and socks, and he's holding up the minute board. We've just got enough time to touch on some AOB. Now, normally we bring a subject each. I think we're probably going to want to do the same one this week, are we?
There is a main one that we've got to cover. I think it's come up in the news so much, and there's a minor one that I want to cover.
Okay,
which is just...
We'll do the minor one first, because I think we're going to get heavy.
It is something that we both brought up this week, which is the simulation and the diving. It's not needed. Yes, there may be contact coming, and in James Maddison's, when he went down, got booked for it, got sent off, he's owned up to it.
Yep.
I completely accept owning up to it, thinking that there was contact coming, but when there's these needless going to grounds, and the Arsenal match was full of it.
Yes, it was.
And it's not needed in modern day football, and I think I'd like to see something done retrospectively for it.
I want to see bigger bans. If you're sent off for diving or booked, I think if you're booked for diving, well, maybe not booked, but I think if you're sent off for diving, that's how you get your second yellow, then I think you should get a game ban. On top of the game ban for the second yellow, so 2 game ban.
Do you think fines would be...
No. Straight off.
Right?
No,
okay.
because it's a drop in the ocean, isn't it? I'm not here to say footballers are paid too much, because that's an argument for another day, but also it's not one I subscribe to anyway. my feeling on that very quickly is that if you could get 180 grand a week for your job, you absolutely would. I don't blame the footballers, I blame the system.
Yeah.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. But a fine would have to be of like 5-6 weeks' wages to make. You're talking massive fines for it to make a difference to them.
Do you think the owners should be more on the teams and the managers, maybe dropping that player to an under-23 game rather than playing him at a weekend?
No, because you won't get the manager to do that, because at the end of the day, if that dive gets you 3 points, that gives the manager a job security for another week. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's difficult, isn't it? Because the managers don't want to see it, but equally they know that if, again, say that's, for argument's sake, a Southampton player a couple of weeks ago, it's Tool against Man United, and Armstrong dives, for argument's sake, wins a penalty, Southampton in the game, Hughes might still be in a job.
Possibly, yeah.
And that's not a nice way of looking at it, but the way the Premier League is run now, it's a results business. And ultimately, these decisions can save managers or make a difference into the season. If you might get to the last day of the season, a Huddersfield player dives, gets a penalty, keeps them up.
Do you think they should be included in VAR decisions next season?
Yes, without a shadow of doubt. I think the key thing is you've got to punish them by giving them hefty bans. That's the only way you're going to try and stamp out.
And for this season, would you look into bringing retrospective yellow cards for people that are found to be diving, therefore accumulating more cards to get that ban in the season?
Yes, my only concern of that would be that if anything retrospective, you're going to miss some.
Yeah.
And you're going to get some that get away with it and some don't, and you then get the, well, he plays for a big club mentality.
Yep.
I.e. Sterling goes down. We'll come on to him in a moment, but Sterling goes down and gets away with it, where, I don't know, Wan-Bissaka doesn't, for argument's sake. I think the only way to deal with this is big bans, because at the end of the day, if you go down, win a penalty, and your team wins 1-0, and you retrospectively get booked, you miss one match, but your team got 3 points. It's almost a sacrifice worth making in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that incident in the World Cup where Suarez saved the ball on the line, got sent off, and then the penalty was saved. It was totally worth it because Uruguay got through.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you make that decision knowing it's wrong because you know that, to quote Hot Fuzz, it's for the greater good.
I can totally accept that it will never be a cut and dry thing. It will never be totally out of football.
No.
But if we can find ways to reduce it and find punishments that work to reduce it.
I think if you're found to dive, the next game you must play wearing armbands. Humiliation.
Humiliation.
Humiliation. You've got to wear armbands for the next game. If you take them off, you're sent off.
Oh dear. Humiliation's an interesting one. You could... Do you go into a game thinking, oh, he dived last week, so I need to be extra cautious of looking at his play?
I think refs do think that way. Yeah, I think we see it. A good example for me is, it's not quite diving, but if Juan Mata does a particularly nasty tackle, which happens occasionally, he normally gets away with it because he's not that kind of person.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple where Mata's done some really nasty tackles, and afterwards he's got booked or gone away completely, and the commentator's always gone, well, his reputation might go before him there, as he's quite a nice guy by all accounts.
Yeah, I wonder if Zaha's been...
Yeah, I think his reputation goes before him.
Yeah,
I think his reputation goes before him, I do. But then again, I would argue that Zaha has had a history of actual dives as well.
Yeah.
It's difficult, I think.
But he then goes to say, well, we need more protection.
So I think it's difficult. I think that you need to have a system that punishes diving rather than rewards it, because at the end of the day, booking or arbitrary fine is nothing. Ban them.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an issue that we're going to struggle to resolve, certainly this season and in many seasons to come. Which is a shame.
It is. Well, that turned out to be a fairly large AOB in the end, because there's some strong opinions on it. Something that mars the weekend's action, and it's very, very sad to see.
It's disgusting.
Is the alleged, we have to say alleged?
Yeah, it is alleged.
Raheem Sterling racing incident. Now, I don't like Raheem Sterling for footballing reasons, and I think that anyone who understands football understands why me, a Liverpool fan, doesn't like him as a footballer. But there really is no justification for racially abusing somebody on the colour of their skin. Just call him a swear word. We're not we're not an explicit pod. Call him a swear word. Do all the football quote banter. I'm fine with that. I don't mind that. But you can't start.
There should be nothing to offend him directly or his family.
No. And it certainly should not be on the grounds of race. And I see that Chelsea Football Club have taken action to ban 4 individuals at the moment, pending a full inquiry. Good, I'm glad they're taking it seriously. I do feel that Raheem Sterling gets a very raw deal in the media. As I say, I'm not the first person to jump to his defence, but I'm reading a story here that Sterling told Gary Neville about concerns in 2016. I remember after Euro 16 he was particularly singled out for the reason England lost that tournament and was particularly vilified in the press. We've seen his Instagram post where he's put the 2 headlines about a young black player buying a property for his mother and a young white player buying a property for his mother, and you can tell the difference in the 2 headlines.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the way that media present it, and I think it's a fact of media nowadays. They're there to sell stories rather than just to report stories.
I think part of the problem is that Sterling got a bad image for the way he left Liverpool. He came across as a greedy person, which I'm not here to discuss if that is what he is or what he isn't, but I think that
you can understand him wanting to get the best for his family and his future. Footballers only have a short career, and they need to build up that income, so you can understand why players go to big clubs, but it's not just coloured or black players that go.
It's not. I think it was that interview that to the BBC that was the smoking gun, so to speak. I think that was the sort of bandwagon that media outlets with a certain agenda were able to leap on. I think he's done some ill-advised things throughout his career, don't get me wrong.
The tattoo is one of them.
And then he's got a story to why that's significant to him.
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit odd to do it right before the World Cup.
Yep.
But equally, how many rappers have odd or offensive or
questionable
tattoos, I think Raheem Sterling gets a very raw deal, and I applaud him for speaking up. I think he's taken abuse for a long time.
So many players have.
Yes, and there's something dignified about the way they handle it. John Barnes is always one for me who handled racism in a particularly dignified manner.
Yep.
There's that awful story of him being racially abused on the way home from the game against Brazil after he scored that ridiculous goal in the Macará.
That lovely dribble for all those Brazilian players.
Racially abused on the plane home. I don't want to get onto the bandwagon and say we're slipping back into the dark ages like some people have said, but this is the second racist incident in a space of a week, with the banana throwing incident at Arsenal the week before. There is no place for racism in 2018, let alone football.
No, and I mean the Kick It Out campaign has been on the FA and FIFA's list for tens of years now.
Yeah.
And the fact that there doesn't seem to be much progress, you don't particularly see the Kick It Out campaign nowadays. It goes through spells of where you see the banners everywhere saying kick racism out of football, we don't want this in football.
There used to be those little bands, didn't there, that all the players wore, the stand-up speak-up bands. You remember those? Yeah.
And they just seem to be slipping nowadays, and I don't know whether that's because they're concentrating on other issues like the LGBT and the coloured captain's armbands.
I think that they thought that they pretty much had kicked it out, because you're always going to get the 1 or 2 idiots.
Yeah.
But by and large, I think it was generally accepted, rightly or wrongly. I can't particularly say, but the racism issue had been not dealt with, but it was certainly a better place than it was, say, in the 80s. I think that's why they moved on to other things in the sport. But
is it a case now that black players in the 80s they weren't used to having those kind of players, and now we're not used to having those kind of players at the absolute top of the game?
What I've never understood about this, and this just shows the stupidity of racism in my view. Chelsea have black players.
Yeah.
A black player scored for them.
Yep.
I can't understand it.
Some of Chelsea's greatest players have been black. Take Drogba.
Sen,
Makalele. Yeah.
I genuinely, it leaves me flabbergasted. You think that on that team, and how does that make players like Rudiger and Kante feel, knowing that they've got that kind of person in their football club? And look, every club's got their melons.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. This is not a Chelsea
this isn't
debate. This is a wider debate. Every club's got their melons.
Yep.
It's something that you never want to see, and I think Sterling is handling this. He gets a very bad press, and I think Sterling is handling this very, very well.
Yeah, I think he's used social media in a way that it should be used. He's gone out and he's addressed the situation that has happened to him. He's spoken out about it, but in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not gone shouting his mouth off about this and that and stuff. He's done it in a civilised way that he's tried not to offend anyone.
No.
As I think it's the right way to do it.
Yeah, as I say, he's not helped himself at times, but that's never an excuse for the level of abuse that he has received. And let's just hope. Chelsea seem to have taken it very seriously, that's one thing to say. So did the PFA and the FA.
And the Met Police.
And the Met Police.
Videos have been passed to them that have gone up on social media of the offending parties. I'd like to hope that there are serious consequences for those people.
Yeah, absolutely. And just keep laughing in the face of it, Raheem. Just keep laughing in the face of it. That's...
Yep, do your talking on the pitch as well. Yeah. And just show them that there's no difference between black, white, whatever colour you are.
Well, we'll raise the tone slightly, because that was quite a heavy segment. I'm just reading here that there's going to be a season of pain, passion and torment for Sunderland FC, a series about their horror season which saw them relegated from the Premier League to be shown on Netflix. So I look forward to watching that, because that was probably one of the worst Premier League sides I've seen.
I have actually seen the Manchester City one, which followed them around for their title-winning season.
Yeah, but everyone loves watching losers more.
Which I thought was really good. It was good to see the insight into what goes on in the dressing rooms, the training grounds, and how the clubs run. And this could be a complete and utter disaster of a show, or hysterically funny.
I think it'll be the latter, because everybody loves watching the thing about the losers. Well, Sam, thank you as ever for joining me tonight. Thank you, the listener, for listening. And we'll see you all again next week. Have a good week. Thank you for listening to A Game of Two Halves. Please subscribe and leave a review.
You can also find us on our social media, on Instagram at A Game of Two Halves Pod, and on Twitter at @A_game of. You can also email us at gameoftwohalvespod@gmail.com.